Jason Kelce just said it plainly. Shedeur Sanders was walking into a mess. And now, a few short weeks later, Cleveland is on fire and Kelce's words feel less like commentary and more like prophecy. The Browns, already infamous for turning minor issues into full-blown catastrophes, took Kelce's calm criticism like they always do, with panic. Internal tensions flared, rumors leaked, and instead of heeding the warning, they launched straight into defense mode. Except it's not just about defending Shedeur.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
It's about defending a broken system. From the outside, Kelce's remarks looked like a simple take on a risky situation. But inside the building, it exposed nerves. The quarterback room is in flux, the coaching staff can't seem to land on a coherent plan, and Shedeur, raw but clearly gifted, is left scrambling for both time in the pocket and a clear direction. This isn't a developmental strategy. It's organizational whiplash. What's unfolding now is classic Cleveland. A franchise with all the resources, all the visibility, and somehow none of the foresight. Every red flag Kelce highlighted, lack of cohesion, poor leadership, reactive management, is now bleeding into every facet of their season. And at the center of the chaos? A 21-year-old quarterback shouldering the weight of a broken culture. Fans are already bracing. The media's tone has shifted from curious to cynical. Rivals are circling. And the Browns? They're still spinning, trying to control a narrative that's already out of their hands. It's not about whether Shedeur can make it in the league. It's about whether Cleveland will let him. That's what Kelce understood. His warning wasn't just about one player, it was about a pattern. The Browns don't just mishandle quarterbacks. They grind them down. They inject instability into every corner of the organization, then act shocked when the results crumble. It's not bad luck. It's baked in. Shedeur still has time. The talent is there. The flashes are obvious. But the environment isn't built for growth. It's built for damage control. And as long as the Browns stay committed to chaos over clarity, even the brightest stars will dim. Kelce saw it coming. Now the rest of the league does too. And Cleveland? They're left holding the same question they've been avoiding for years. How many warnings does it take before change actually happens? Jason Kelce didn't issue a scathing rant. He didn't drop a viral mic moment or hurl personal attacks. He said what needed to be said, and he said it quietly, calmly, bluntly. That's what made it so much worse for the Cleveland Browns. Because when Jason Kelce, a guy who just stepped away from one of the most well-run locker rooms in football, decides to publicly comment on your franchise's quarterback situation, you don't treat it like noise. You listen. You take stock. You pause and reassess. The Browns didn't. They heard the warning and walked straight into the fire anyway. And now, that calm warning is being played on repeat across sports networks as the team descends into yet another episode of dysfunction, drama, and damage control. Except this time, the stakes are different. The quarterback isn't just another experiment. It's Shedeur Sanders, one of the most hyped young talents in the league, and now the centerpiece of a cautionary tale already unfolding in real time. Kelce didn't predict Shedeur would fail. He predicted Cleveland would fail him. And that distinction is key. Because despite the controversy, the media circus, and the sheer amount of chaos swirling around the Browns right now, Shedeur Sanders hasn't been the problem. In fact, he's shown flashes of everything you'd hope to see in a future franchise quarterback: composure, arm talent, situational awareness, and leadership in the huddle. What he hasn't been given is stability, protection, or a plan. And Kelce saw that coming before the season even hit full stride. The Browns, true to form, responded with confusion, denial, and all the classic signals of a franchise in internal crisis. From poorly worded pressers to contradicting statements between coaches and execs, Cleveland's front office made it clear they were more offended by Kelce's comments than concerned with fixing the environment he was warning about. And that's where the cycle begins again. Because this isn't just about a quarterback under pressure. It's about an organization that still hasn't learned how to develop one. From the outside, it always looks the same: early promise, organizational chaos, media blow-up, locker room tension, and eventually, blame. And guess who always gets the blame? The quarterback. Always the quarterback. Even when the offensive line is folding like a lawn chair. Even when the play calling is inconsistent. Even when the franchise still doesn't seem to have a clear development structure in place. When things go south, it's the quarterback who gets dragged. And in Cleveland, that blame game starts early and hits hard. This is exactly what Kelce was warning about. And now, as each week passes, the prophecy plays out in slow motion. The fans know it. The media sees it. Rival teams are watching with popcorn in hand. And the Browns? They're still trying to convince everyone that things are under control. Spoiler, they're not. The fan reaction alone tells the story. Some are still trying to stay optimistic, clinging to the hope that Shedeur can survive the system long enough to change it. Others are already bracing for impact, because they've seen this story before. Different names, same headlines. Quarterbacks come and go, but the dysfunction always stays. The coaching staff is clearly feeling the heat. The messaging has shifted. They've gone from "we're confident in our process" to "we need to make adjustments." From "this is part of growth" to "he has to improve." It's subtle, but it's the beginning of a narrative shift, and it never bodes well for the guy under center. And again, we're talking about a rookie. A player who hasn't even been given a full season to find his rhythm before the noise started building. But in Cleveland, time is a luxury they've never understood how to use. They want instant results from a team that's never been built to deliver them. That's the dysfunction. That's the cultural failure. That's what Kelce was really pointing at. Because development doesn't happen in chaos. Quarterbacks don't thrive when they're used as band-aids for deeper systemic problems. You can't fast-track growth by throwing a young player into a crisis and hoping talent alone carries him through. And right now, Shedeur Sanders isn't being developed. He's being tested. Week after week. Not just on the field, but off of it. He's fielding more questions about team culture than coverages. He's having to lead a locker room that doesn't seem aligned. He's becoming the face of dysfunction instead of the future of the franchise. And it's not because he failed. It's because Cleveland did. The Browns' pattern of self-destruction is no longer a punchline, it's a feature. They are the NFL example of how not to manage a roster, how not to develop a quarterback, how not to handle media pressure, and how not to react when someone like Jason Kelce calls it out. Instead of rising to the occasion, they've made themselves part of the spectacle. And now, every time the offense stalls, every time a sideline shot shows frustration, every time Shedeur looks over his shoulder with that "what am I even supposed to do here" expression, Kelce's words echo louder. This isn't about stats. This is about structure. Accountability. And until Cleveland decides to change any of that, no quarterback, not even one with Shedeur's potential, is going to make it through intact. The media isn't exaggerating the meltdown. It's real. The leaks, the sideline tension, the inconsistent game plans, the subtle coaching shade, it's all there. And it's all being framed through the lens of a warning the Browns refuse to take seriously. Meanwhile, the NFL continues turning dysfunction into entertainment. Shedeur Sanders' rookie year has become part of the league's soap opera. His development arc is being overshadowed by the disaster around him. And no one in that front office seems willing to step up and shift the narrative. So where does that leave us? With another talented quarterback drowning in an organization that can't seem to save anyone. With another wasted opportunity. Another season where the Browns became the story, not because they succeeded, but because they imploded in full view of the league. And Jason Kelce? He's not laughing. He's not doubling down. He doesn't have to. The Browns are doing that all on their own. His words have become a timestamp on a season that's quickly becoming unwatchable, for all the wrong reasons. So now it's your turn. What do you think? Can Shedeur still rise above the chaos? Or is this just another Browns meltdown with a new face on the billboard? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're here for the full timeline of NFL drama, franchise dysfunction, and brutally honest breakdowns, go ahead and subscribe. Because the Browns aren't done spiraling. And we're not done watching. We're not even asking if the Cleveland Browns will implode. We're just asking when. And now, Thanks to Jason Kelce's blunt warning, we're tracking it in real time. The Shedeur Sanders situation isn't just another rough rookie season. It's the latest proof that Cleveland isn't equipped to handle its own expectations, much less a quarterback with a national spotlight and sky-high potential. What's playing out right now isn't a slump. It's a franchise doing what it does best, turning a future star into collateral damage. Let's be honest. Shedeur never stood a chance in this environment. Not because he lacks the tools. Not because he wasn't ready for the league. But because the Browns have a long and embarrassing track record of mismanaging the most important position in football. And instead of learning from it, they keep repeating the cycle, like they're allergic to growth. Kelce didn't call out Shedeur. He called out the system, the broken process, the chaos that seems to rise to the surface every time this team is given a glimmer of hope. He was trying to say, loudly enough for the Browns to hear, but calmly enough for the rest of the league to listen, that Cleveland was once again setting the stage for a meltdown. And Cleveland didn't listen. Now we're watching the fallout play out, play by play, loss by loss. The post-game interviews are getting tighter. The smiles are getting faker. The trust the process lines are starting to feel more like a plea than a plan. And through all of this, Shedeur is expected to carry it. He's supposed to be the leader, the face, the future. But how do you lead when you're spending more time dodging pressure than executing plays? How do you build chemistry when the scheme changes every week? How do you develop when no one around you has a clear blueprint? That's the part Kelce understood, because he's seen what it should look like. He's been in the trenches with teams that actually build around their quarterback, who build a culture first, then put a player in it, who protect talent rather than overexpose it, who understand that rookies need time, guidance, and stability, not headlines, hot takes, and a crumbling infrastructure. Meanwhile, Cleveland continues to chase vibes instead of results. They roll out talent like it's a PR campaign. They push the Shedeur brand. They market his name. But when it's time to actually build the machine around him, there's nothing there. Just broken systems, questionable coaching, and a front office more concerned with optics than outcomes. And the fans? They're done. Or at least they're exhausted. Browns fans are loyal. That's never been in question. They've weathered more disasters than most franchises can imagine. But loyalty has a breaking point. And watching this happen, watching yet another quarterback get swallowed by the same problems they've seen a dozen times before, it's pushing people over the edge. Because what Kelce said wasn't just football analysis. It was a cultural indictment. He was pointing out that this team, as it's currently constructed, doesn't know how to support talent. That it confuses potential for preparedness. That it throws quarterbacks into battle without a shield, then acts surprised when they bleed. And right now, Shedeur Sanders is bleeding. Not physically, but professionally. Every week he spends in this system chips away at his confidence, his timing, his growth. Every bad snap becomes part of the narrative. Every missed read becomes a concern. Every press conference becomes an exercise in damage control. And this is how it starts. This is how Cleveland eats its young. They load up expectations. They skip steps. They fail to protect. Then, when it inevitably falls apart, they blame the talent instead of the system. And Shedeur is being prepped for that moment whether he knows it or not. Because that's the cycle. And unless something drastically changes, fast, this franchise will once again turn gold into dust. Kelce saw it. He said it. And now, the league is watching it play out exactly as predicted. Let's break it down even further. The offensive line? Collapsing. Shedeur's under constant pressure, forcing him to scramble, improvise, and rush through progressions before the play even develops. That's not growing pains, that's sabotage. The coaching? Confused. One week they're conservative, the next they're taking unnecessary risks. There's no rhythm, no continuity, no identity. For a rookie quarterback, that's a nightmare. Because development is about repetition, not randomness. The locker room? Tense. You can feel it. The sideline energy is off. The post-game answers are short. You don't get that vibe from a united team. You get that from a team waiting for someone to blame. And that someone? It's never the GM. It's never the coach. It's always the quarterback. This is how talented players get broken, not by lack of skill, but by lack of structure. And Shedeur, with all his potential and promise, is now stuck in a system that looks more like a pressure cooker than a football team. Meanwhile, the rest of the league is watching this disaster with morbid curiosity. Because the Browns aren't just underperforming, they're putting on a show. The kind of high-stakes, high-drama, all-eyes-on-you spectacle that turns a football team into a storyline. And for everyone not named Shedeur Sanders, that's entertainment. For him, it's a career on the line. It's easy to say, he's young, he'll bounce back. But not everyone bounces back from Cleveland. This franchise has a graveyard of promising quarterbacks who were never given a chance to succeed. Not because they weren't good enough, but because the Browns never were. And that's what makes this moment so pivotal. Kelce didn't speak up just to stir the pot. He was trying to spark change, trying to get ahead of the inevitable, trying to send a signal to a franchise that refuses to read the room. And now, as the walls start closing in, that signal is looking less like a warning and more like a eulogy. Because Shedeur doesn't need to be a cautionary tale. He shouldn't be. He's got the tools. He's got the poise. He's got the mindset. What he doesn't have is time, and Cleveland is burning through what little he has left to grow before the NFL eats him alive. So what now? That's the question. Is there a world where the Browns stop the bleeding, own the chaos, and actually protect what they've got? Or are they already too far gone, once again trapped in a cycle of PR spin, internal tension, and on-field confusion? If history is any guide, we know what's coming. And it's not a redemption arc. Because Cleveland doesn't do redemption. It does rebuilds. It does scapegoats. It does the same mistakes wrapped in different packaging. And unless someone inside that building is finally willing to break that pattern, then Kelce's warning will be more than just a viral clip. It'll be a timestamp, a line in the sand, a moment where the rest of us knew how this was going to end and watched anyway. So what do you think? Can Shedeur Sanders survive this? Or are we witnessing another young star being wasted in one of the NFL's most historically chaotic franchises? The worst part is, we've all seen this before. Different quarterback. Same franchise. Same outcome. The Cleveland Browns don't run a football operation, they run a rerun. Overhyped rookie enters stage left, the fans get their hopes up, the media gets wild, the coaching staff loses the plot, and by midseason, the dream's already circling the drain. And now it's happening again, only this time, the stakes are higher because Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie. He's the rookie. The one people have been watching for years. The one with the name, the brand, the talent, and the presence. And now he's being wasted, publicly, painfully, and predictably. Jason Kelce saw it coming. And now the league sees it too. Right now, Shedeur's development is taking place in the worst possible environment. Under a microscope, behind a collapsing offensive line, and inside a franchise that treats honest feedback like personal attacks. And let's be real, the moment Kelce spoke up, he gave the Browns a gift. He gave them the opportunity to take a breath, reset, and reevaluate. Not to panic, not to lash out, but to reflect. Instead, they panicked anyway. And that panic? It's spreading. The team can't decide if they want to protect Shedeur or promote him. One day it's, we believe in him. The next day it's, he needs to clean things up. That contradiction isn't a development strategy. It's a warning sign. A sign that the people making decisions still don't understand how to guide a young quarterback through adversity without turning him into a scapegoat. Let's talk about that offensive line. It's not just bad, it's irresponsible. A rookie quarterback is supposed to grow behind protection, not behind panic. He's not supposed to be spending every play improvising just to survive. And yet, week after week, that's exactly what Shedeur is doing. Running. Scrambling. Trying to stay upright while defenders come in untouched. You don't teach pocket presence like that. You don't build confidence that way. What you build is fear. And hesitation. And bad habits. And that's the tragedy. Because Shedeur has the goods. That's not in question. But talent without structure? It gets neutralized. It gets overwhelmed. It fades. And if Cleveland keeps this up, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're not just risking a bad season, they're risking ruining him. Meanwhile, Kelce's words are aging like prophecy. What was once hot take territory has become gospel. Every chaotic snap, every sideline stare, every botched possession, it all validates what he said. And the Browns? They're not silencing the critics. They're proving them right. Let's talk leadership. There is no leadership vacuum in the building. The problem is, leadership is being drowned out by noise. From the top down, there's no unified message. The front office is pushing one narrative, the coaching staff another, and the players are left caught in between. That's not a team, it's a fractured brand trying to hold itself together for the cameras. And Shedeur is the one paying for it. He's being asked to hold the line while everything around him crumbles. He's being forced into a hero role when what he needs is a support system. Instead of growing, he's surviving. Instead of leading, he's managing dysfunction. That's not development, it's damage control. What Kelce warned us about was a culture problem, a system failure. And now the world is watching it unfold in front of them like a slow-motion disaster. Fans are shouting. Media is circling. Rival teams are snickering. And the Browns? Still pretending they don't know where the smoke is coming from. This isn't about one bad game. This is about a franchise that refuses to face its own identity crisis. A team so used to losing the plot that even when someone hands them the script, they still ad-lib disaster. Cleveland had a chance. Kelce gave them the headline they needed to change course. Instead, they're stuck in the loop they wrote for themselves. And Shedeur Sanders? He's the latest lead in the Browns' never-ending tragedy. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is this fixable? Or is Shedeur already trapped in a system that can't be saved? Don't forget to subscribe for more brutally honest breakdowns, because this isn't just a story, it's a saga. And if Cleveland doesn't change course soon, it'll be yet another name added to the long list of what could have been.